The atmosphere is thick with tension. Reinhard leans in and finally whispers the family secret that could ruin everything. There is a love child in my family. Bianca nearly chokes on her tea. This is the main plot twist. But before she can accuse him of being a secret player, Reinhard frantically waves his hands, screaming, "Don't get the wrong idea. It's not mine." He reveals the true culprit, his father, the Marquis. Apparently, the old man had a scandalous moment of weakness years ago. Reinhard actually admits he wishes it was his mistake instead of his father's to save the family honor. He explains that his father was injured in the countryside and got intimate with the maid who nursed him. It is the classic romance novel setup, but in real life, it is a disaster. Reinhard confirms the evidence is undeniable. They counted backward from the child's birth date, and it aligned perfectly with his father's recovery period. They tried to deny it, hoping the woman was lying, but then they saw the child's face. The Wensbury genes are apparently so strong they act like a DNA test. The resemblance confirmed it instantly. He drops the final blow. His father intends to adopt the child into the family, despite his mother's opposition. Bianca realizes this isn't just a rumor anymore. The heroine, Maria, is officially entering the noble stage, and nothing can stop it. Then, Reinhard asks for a favor that is dripping with irony. He reveals that Maria is already in the capital but lacks proper education. So, he turns to Bianca, the most elegant woman he knows, and asks her to help mentor this illegitimate child. He is unknowingly asking the villainess to train the very woman destined to destroy her. Bianca, trying to keep her composure, asks for the name just to be sure. Reinhard confirms, Maria Wensbury. Hearing that name out loud sends a chill down her spine. The character, Maria Valona from the book has officially become Maria Wensbury. The prophecy is coming true. Bianca's internal world collapses. She realizes the story is progressing, without an inch of error. Destiny is marching forward like a tank, and she knows exactly where this road ends. She stares into the void, and a terrifying vision grips her. She sees the ending of the book clearly, the guillotine. She realizes that Maria's arrival isn't just a scandal, it is the first step toward her own execution. The fear is real, and it pushes her toward a dark path. For a split second, a horrific thought crosses her mind. Should I kill her? It is a simple solution, no heroine, no tragedy. But Bianca immediately shakes her head, horrified by her own mind. She realizes she is slipping into the role of the true villainess. She pulls herself back from the edge. She remembers Ricardo's trauma from the war, the blank stare, the nightmares. She realizes that using bloodshed to solve her problems would only make her a monster and turn her life into a living nightmare. She decides she won't use violence to survive. Instead, she comes up with a brilliant, non-violent loophole. What if I prevent them from meeting? If Ricardo and Maria never meet, they can't fall in love. And if they don't fall in love, the tragic ending never triggers. It is the perfect plan. She checks the calendar and identifies the critical date, St. George's Day. In the original novel, this is the exact day Ricardo and Maria meet at the festival and fall in love at first sight. This is the D-Day she must block at all costs. Her strategy is simple, Operation Human Shield. She decides to occupy 100% of Ricardo's time on that day. She approaches him and asks, "Could you spend the entire day with me?" She figures if she is glued to his side, he literally won't have the line of sight to see the heroine. Ricardo looks honored, perhaps even happy, but then he drops the rejection. "I already have a previous engagement." Bianca's heart stops. A previous engagement on the most romantic day of the year? Her panic sets in immediately. Has the plot accelerated? Is he meeting Maria now? She demands to know who he is meeting. Ricardo quickly explains, "I promised the children at the orphanage I'd take them to the festival." Bianca deflates. It is not a secret lover, it is a field trip with toddlers. She was jealous of a bunch of orphans. Bianca realizes this is actually perfect. A busy duke is a distracted duke. She immediately pivots and asks to join him. Ricardo smiles, genuinely touched by her kindness. Bianca thinks she has won the game. She gets to play the saint and keep him away from Maria. Fast forward to the festival. Bianca expects a romantic stroll with some kids in the background. Instead, she steps into a war zone. The crowd is massive, the noise is deafening. Rumble, bustle. It is absolute chaos. Bianca stands there, horrified. She is surrounded by commoners, shouting, and the smell of cheap food. This isn't a date, it is a survival mission. She looks at Ricardo, then at the screaming children, and realizes she might have made a terrible miscalculation. Can she maintain her elegance, and keep Ricardo away from Maria, in this madness? Welcome to St. George's Day. In the countryside, this is a holy, peaceful celebration. But here in the capital, it is basically a war zone. The ground shakes, the noise is deafening, and people are swarming like bees. Bianca looks around in sheer terror, genuinely asking Ricardo if a war has broken out. Ricardo, calm as ever, explains it is just a festival. Bianca is hyperventilating. She expected music and elegance, not a mosh pit. She screams internally that no one warned her it would be this chaotic. But before she can escape, the little tyrant Lala shouts, "What are you waiting for?" Lala grabs Ricardo's hand and drags him into the fray. Bianca tries to protest, yelling that she is not ready, but resistance is futile. The tiny force of nature has decided they are going, and Bianca is pulled into the stampede against her will. As she stumbles along, holding Ricardo's hand, Bianca realizes something. Despite the noise and the crowd, people are actually happy. The screaming is just merchants selling candy, and the crying children stop the moment they get a lollipop. It is not a riot, it is just aggressive joy. Lala spots a doll prize at a game stall. Bianca, trying to be the generous rich lady, offers to buy it. But this is a festival. You do not buy prizes, you win them. The merchant says they have to knock down targets to win. Ricardo steps up. Bang, bang, bang. He hits every target effortlessly. The crowd cheers, Lala gets her doll, and Bianca is left staring. She realizes she is actually having fun. For a brief moment, this feels like a real family outing. Ricardo looks at her and admits he was worried she wouldn't fit in at a commoner market. But seeing her enjoying herself, he smiles and says he made the right decision to bring her. It is a rare, sweet moment that lowers Bianca's guard completely. But then, Bianca makes the classic horror movie mistake. She splits the party. She tells Ricardo she is thirsty. He offers to go buy her some juice. As he walks away to get 2 flavors, Bianca stands alone, thinking she has successfully blocked the romance route. Suddenly, chaos erupts. Someone screams thief. A man rushes past, knocking people over. Ricardo, being the dutiful knight, immediately gives chase. He yells at Bianca to look after the children and sprints into the crowd. Bianca is left stunned. But as she watches him run, she hears a voice. A girl is shouting at the thief. Bianca freezes. She recognizes that voice. She recognizes the scenario. It is the heroine. Panic explodes in her chest. She screams Ricardo's name, trying to stop him. She knows she cannot let them meet. She tries to run after him, but the crowd is too thick. She gets shoved and blocked. The universe is physically stopping her from interfering. Ricardo catches the thief easily. A girl with red hair stomps up, furious. She screams at the thief, asking if he knows what that money was for. Then she drops the tragic backstory line, "It was for my mother's hospital expenses." The situation resolves. Ricardo returns the money pouch. The girl wipes her sweat, looks up with big, grateful eyes, and thanks him profusely. It is the classic damsel meets hero moment. Bianca watches from a distance, helpless. But here is where it gets interesting. Ricardo doesn't fall in love instantly. He asks, "Do you have evidence that this is really yours?" He is being logical. The girl gets offended. She shouts, "What? Are you accusing me of lying?" Bianca hears this dialogue and her blood runs cold. She realizes she has memorized these exact lines. They are speaking word for word from the novel. The script is active, and nothing Bianca did changed a single thing. The girl points to the embroidery on the pouch. My name should be embroidered on it. My mom embroidered it. Ricardo checks the pouch. He asks for her name. Bianca prays for a miracle, but destiny is cruel. The girl looks him in the eyes and says, "My name is Maria." Boom. The introduction is complete. Ricardo repeats her name. The connection is made. Bianca watches them. In her mind's eye, she sees the future. They will fall madly in love. And because of that love, Ricardo will end up driving a knife into her throat. The image of her death flashes vividly before her eyes. She stands there, paralyzed by the realization. The plot is an unstoppable force. She tried to block it, she tried to be present, she tried to distract him. But in the end, what is meant to happen, will happen. The episode ends with Bianca staring at the new couple, realizing her doom has officially begun. The scene opens with a haunting realization. Bianca watches the fated couple, and the narration delivers the crushing blow. What is meant to happen, will happen. The weight of the original novel presses down on her chest. She realizes that no matter how hard she struggles or how much she prepares, the story is forcing its way to the tragic ending. The festival lights blur as panic sets in, making it impossible for her to breathe. The suffocating feeling turns into a fight-or-flight response. She thinks, "I cannot stay here. I have to get out." The vision of her death feels too real, too close. Without a word to Ricardo or anyone else, she turns and bolts. She lifts her heavy dress and runs away from the happy crowd, desperate to escape the script that wants her dead. Ricardo realizes she has vanished. He looks around, his expression shifting from confusion to alarm. He calls out, "Bianca! Bianca!" He pushes through the crowd, searching frantically until he finds her in a secluded spot. But he stops short. The proud, composed Bianca is trembling. She is crying. The sight is so shocking that he freezes, unable to comprehend what could have broken her so suddenly. Ricardo stares at her, his mind racing. He realizes that today, Bianca has shown him so many sides he never knew existed. Her confusion at the commoner market, her genuine joy at the game, and her delight when Lala received the doll. It was all unfamiliar territory, yet he admits to himself that he did not dislike seeing it. But seeing her tears now evokes a strange, painful feeling in his chest. Suddenly, the heavy atmosphere is interrupted. Panting and out of breath, Maria runs up to them. She chased them down just to say thank you. She insists on repaying them for retrieving her precious money pouch, acting exactly like the righteous heroine she is supposed to be. Bianca, wiping her tears and regaining her composure, rejects the reward. She tells the girl that repayment is not necessary. Instead, she instructs Maria to simply pay it forward and help someone else in need when she gets the chance. It is a noble response, but deep down, Bianca just wants to end this interaction as quickly as possible. We cut to the carriage ride home. Bianca looks pale, exhausted, and dizzy. Her maid, worried about her health, suggests canceling the schedule for the next day. But Bianca asks what is on the agenda. The maid reminds her that the daughter of Marquis Wensbury is coming to visit. Bianca realizes fate is cruel, she has to face the heroine again tomorrow. She refuses to cancel, steeling herself for the encounter. The dreaded day arrives. Maria sits across from Bianca at the tea table. She nervously introduces herself, correcting her name from Maria Vallona to Maria Wensbury. The transition is official. The illegitimate child has been accepted, and the plot is moving forward at full speed. Bianca analyzes her opponent with a critical eye. She notes that Maria has dressed up but still looks a bit tacky and disheveled compared to high society standards. However, she also notices what Maria possesses that she does not, eyes sparkling with life and a smile full of genuine innocence. It is a brightness that Bianca feels she has lost. Maria then innocently drops a bombshell. She tells Bianca that Lord Reinhard and Sir Wensbury talk about her constantly. She confesses that she views Bianca as the perfect lady, a role model she strives to emulate. She effectively puts Bianca on a pedestal, completely unaware that she is destined to knock her off it. Bianca listens, feeling a bitter irony. Her entire life's goal, her sole driving force, was to become the perfect lady and the elegant duchess. And now, this girl who appeared out of nowhere threatens to take that future away simply by existing. The thought that a mere girl could ruin her decades of effort is unbearable. Dark thoughts consume Bianca. She asks herself what she did to deserve this fate. Why must she die just because the story says so? The overwhelming sense of injustice makes her physically ill. She starts coughing violently, choking on her tea as her composure finally cracks. The cup rattles against the saucer as Bianca loses her balance. Maria panics, jumping up and calling out "My lady," asking if she is all right. Bianca stares at her. The girl who is supposed to be her enemy is looking at her with pure, unadulterated concern. It is confusing, frustrating, and heartbreaking all at once. Once the coughing fit subsides, Maria opens up about her situation. She explains she moved to the capital for her sick mother. She admits she could not cure her mother in the countryside, so she swallowed her pride to join the Wensbury family. It is a tragic, noble backstory that makes it impossible for Bianca to hate her. Maria expresses her deep gratitude. She thanks Bianca for offering to mentor her, saying she wishes to become someone who can help others just like Bianca one day. Bianca feels like a fraud. She screams internally that she is not helping out of goodwill, but only because she wanted to maintain her image as a good person. But then, she remembers something Ricardo said to her. He told her that it is harder to be kind than cruel. He said that going out of her way to do good deeds, even if the motive is not pure, still makes her a good person. His words echo in her mind, validating her actions even when she doubts herself. Even if everyone else doubts you, you should not doubt yourself. That memory gives her strength. She looks at Mariah's bright spirit and realizes the truth. She cannot kill this girl. How could she ever harm someone so sweet? The murderous intent vanishes, leaving only a heavy sense of resignation. A wave of exhaustion washes over Bianca. She realizes she has never lived a life defined by herself. She studied, worked hard, and tried to be perfect, all for a future that was never guaranteed. She feels trapped in a script she did not write, playing a role she no longer wants if the price is her life. She comes to a radical decision. If she cannot stop the plot from happening, she will remove herself from the equation entirely. We cut to a scene with Ricardo. The atmosphere is heavy and serious. Bianca looks him dead in the eye and asks if he hears her clearly. She takes a deep breath and drops the nuclear bomb. "I want to break off our engagement." Ricardo freezes, his face a mask of shock. Bianca has decided that if being his fiancé leads to death, then she will simply quit the role. It is the ultimate act of defiance against the story. The story opens with a tense flashback to Bianca's childhood. A young, bratty crown prince Assel is screaming at her in the palace garden. He points furiously to a stain on his clothes and accuses her of dirtying them. With a haughty attitude, he demands an immediate apology. However, young Bianca stands her ground. She looks him dead in the eye and calmly states that it was not her fault, refusing to be bullied. Assel gets furious at her defiance. He sarcastically asks if the juice spilled itself. Bianca maintains her poker face and insists it was an honest mistake. Just then, the queen steps in to mediate. She tells Assel that he is giving Bianca a hard time and offers to lend him clothes. She tries to defuse the situation, but the spoiled prince is more interested in winning the argument than fixing his shirt. Assel screams that the problem isn't the clothes, but Bianca's attitude. Realizing he won't get the apology he wants from the stubborn girl, he throws a tantrum. He storms off to get changed, shouting, "Forget it. I am leaving," and warns her that he won't let her off easy next time. Bianca stands there, watching him leave, completely unfazed by the royal outburst. As the prince leaves, young Ricardo approaches Bianca. He stares at her and then unexpectedly apologizes. He says, "Sorry. The chair was too low for you, wasn't it? I didn't realize." Bianca is confused. In her world, apologies are for the weak, yet this boy is apologizing for something he didn't even do, just because he felt he should have been more attentive to her comfort. Bianca tries to push him away with her harsh philosophy. She tells him her mother said apologizing is for losers and that proper ladies don't create situations where they need to apologize. She expects him to mock her. Instead, Ricardo smiles brightly and tells her she is already learning so much and will surely become a fine lady. Bianca blushes deeply. It is the first time she felt validated and cared for. Back in the present, Bianca reflects on that memory. That smile was the trap. That was the moment she fell for him and decided she had to be his duchess. But she shakes her head, snapping back to reality. Her priority now isn't love or status, it is survival. She steels herself, knowing she has to destroy that dream to save her life. The scene shifts to the library. Bianca sits across from adult Ricardo. She formally introduces herself, setting a serious tone. Then, she drops the bomb, "I want to break off our engagement." Ricardo looks completely stunned. He repeats the words slowly, as if he cannot comprehend them. Ricardo's expression hardens. He reminds her, "Weren't you the one who wanted this?" He knows how desperately she chased him in the past. Bianca admits she was young and hasty back then and wants to correct her mistake. Ricardo stares at her intensely and says, "I could only see what was in front of me," implying he has been watching her this whole time, not ignoring her. He questions her sincerity. Bianca laughs nervously and tries to play the villain. She says she only wanted the title of Duchess because it seemed appealing, but now she has realized there are more precious things. She is trying to make herself look shallow so he will agree to let her go. Ricardo is not convinced. He asks, "Why must we break off our engagement?" Then his voice drops, and he asks the dangerous question, "Is there another man? Are you doubting my loyalty?" His jealousy flares up instantly, shattering her hope for a peaceful separation. Bianca panics. She tries to argue that if he fell in love with another woman, her request would be justified. She is desperately trying to push him toward the plot of the novel where he loves the heroine. She is basically screaming, "Please go fall in love with someone else." But Ricardo cuts her off. He declares firmly, "That will never happen. Because I am deeply interested in you." He flatly refuses to break off the engagement. Bianca's world crumbles. The man who was supposed to kill her just confessed he is interested in her. The escape route is blocked. Bianca leaves the room in a daze. She wonders if the story has changed. Does this mean she and Ricardo will end up together? She rushes to her bookshelf to check the prophecy book. She needs to know if the ending has shifted or if this is just a cruel twist. She reads the book. It still describes the scene where Maria meets Ricardo. In the book, Maria asks for his name to repay him, and Ricardo answers. But in reality, as we saw earlier, Ricardo rejected Maria's offer cold. The events in the book and reality are diverging. The book says Maria falls deeply in love with him. But Bianca realizes something critical. The book never explicitly said Ricardo loved Maria back. It just said Maria loved him. Bianca connects the dots, then I, who was once the villainess, turn out to be Ricardo's first love. The realization hits her like a physical blow. She is not the obstacle to the romance, she is the romance. The tragic ending wasn't about him hating her, it might have been about a love gone wrong. Thud. Bianca collapses in shock, dropping a cup. Her maid rushes to her side. Overwhelmed, Bianca asks Maria if she thinks this situation will change Ricardo's heart. Maria says no, inadvertently confirming Bianca's worst fear, his feelings are fixed. Bianca screams internally. For the love of God. Why do I always end up dying? She realizes that whether he hates her or loves her, the death flags are still waving. She is trapped in a tragic fate no matter what role she plays, and now she is the main character of a tragedy. The scene opens with Bianca's internal monologue. She wonders if her situation is a curse or God's will. She feels like the world will not rest until she is killed. However, she refuses to let it get her down. She arrives at the Wensbury estate, determined to take control of her fate. Maria welcomes her warmly, saying she has been waiting for her. Bianca greets Maria politely. She asks if her visit is too sudden. Maria denies it instantly, looking delighted. She says she has been meaning to invite Bianca over for tea since their last meeting. She leads Bianca to the garden where refreshments are prepared. Bianca gets straight to the point. She admits she was hesitant to interfere, but after hearing about Maria's mother the other day, she could not just sit back and do nothing. She reveals the true purpose of her visit. She came to give Maria something important. Bianca hands Maria a letter. Maria looks surprised and asks what it is. Bianca tells her to take a look and hopes she can accept the gift without feeling burdened. She explains that it is a recommendation letter for Maria's mother's hospitalization. Maria reads the letter and gasps. It is for St. Lemenica Hospital. Bianca explains that this hospital is affiliated with the monastery sponsored by House Crawford. She notes that while House Wensbury surely looked into good hospitals, Dr. Kenwell at St. Lemenica is the absolute best when it comes to treating tuberculosis. Bianca adds that the doctor wasn't accepting new patients, which is why the recommendation letter is necessary. Maria is overcome with emotion. Tears fill her big green eyes. She thanks Bianca profusely, calling her not just a helper, but her savior. As Maria cries tears of gratitude, Bianca has a pragmatic internal thought. She thinks this alleviates some of her worries. She reasons that unless Maria is an animal, she doubts the girl would try to kill the person who saved her mother, even if she is blinded by love later on. It is a calculated move for survival. Suddenly, a new challenger approaches. It is Marchioness Wensbury, Maria's stepmother. She walks in with a fake smile, exclaiming, "Look who it is. Long time no see." She feigns ignorance, claiming she wasn't told Bianca would be visiting today. Bianca apologizes for the sudden visit. The Marchioness waves it off, saying she is happy to see her. She asks about Bianca's parents, then drops a heavy shade. She looks at Bianca and says, "Whenever I see a sweet girl like you, I can't help but regret that I only have one son." Bianca catches the drift immediately. The Marchioness is implying that Maria, her stepdaughter sitting right there, does not count as a sweet girl worth having. Bianca realizes the Marchioness sees Maria only as an illegitimate stain on the family honor, despite the adoption papers. The Marchioness grabs Bianca's hands warmly, completely ignoring Maria. She mentions that her son, Reinhard, will be home soon. She suggests that since Bianca came all this way, she should go see him before leaving. She is trying to set up a date and push Maria out of the picture. Bianca plays dumb. She asks, "Pardon? What for?" The Marchioness tries again, suggesting they go inside for tea because the garden is hot. She asks rudely, "What are you doing in the garden?" implying Maria's choice of venue is poor. Bianca stands her ground. She looks at Maria, who looks dejected, and tells the Marchioness she appreciates the offer but she was in the middle of tea with Lady Maria. She politely but firmly refuses to leave Maria alone. The Marchioness realizes she has lost this round. Her smile twitches. She says it is a shame and agrees to let them be. But before she leaves, she throws one last passive-aggressive dart. She tells Bianca, "I hope you have a nice chat with your beloved daughter," mocking the relationship before storming off. Maria looks devastated. Bianca realizes the situation is worse than she expected. If the stepmother is this bold in front of a guest, imagine how bad it gets when they are alone. Bianca feels a pang of sympathy. She realizes she has one less thing to worry about regarding Maria's character, but a new problem has emerged. Bianca reflects on the Marquis. He is a man unfamiliar with the intricacies of high society and the women's social circles. He thinks hiring a tutor is enough, but he is completely blind to the emotional abuse happening under his roof. The scene shifts to the core issue. The Marquis had told Maria it is almost time for her debutante ball and she must prepare. Maria, who was a commoner until recently, expressed fear that it was too soon. Instead of comforting her, her father scolded her for her negativity. Bianca realizes that without a mother's help, Maria cannot prepare for such a major event. The debutante ball is where noble ladies are introduced to fine spouses. Usually, mothers assist, but Marchioness Wensbury would undoubtedly sabotage Maria to make her look like a fool and a wreck. Bianca sees an opportunity. She asks Maria, "Did you say the debutante ball?" Her eyes light up with a plan. She leans in and offers, "Perhaps I could offer you some help." Bianca decides that if she wants to ensure the plot goes smoothly, and save herself, she needs to be the one to make Maria the perfect heroine.